Hi everybody, this is chapter 9 and we are going to talk about e-commerce and application. And e-commerce, as we know, stands for electronic. E for electronic, commerce is for commercial use, and application is the application that is being utilized. So technically speaking, we are going to talk about business type of application that could be supported over the network or over the internet or over different type of networks. So the four major topics related to this chapter includes the first one is the e-commerce definition. So we need really to understand what's the meaning of e-commerce, and then we need to talk about e-business growth, and we have to see how the e-business can grow in our environment or in different type of businesses, and how this is possible. We need also to look at the e-business framework and how this framework facilitates the different types of e-businesses or the different types of application that exist. Finally, we need to look at the e-business technologies that is available. So here the e-business, as I mentioned before, E stands for electronic, and C for the e-commerce before, the e-commerce, electronic commercial based application, or the e-business in general. So the e-business stands for the electronic business, is how to facilitate the working and facilitate the transmission of different type of data between the two entities. And in this case, when we talk about a business, so we are talking about definitely a buyer and a seller. So the buyer is the customer and the seller is the supplier in this case, and the e-business to facilitate this between them. Let's take a look at the first topic first, which is the e-commerce definition. There are some definitions that are required for the e-commerce. The internet is the first definition, and we have talked about it before, and we learned that it is a group or a worldwide network of different networks that is accessible by the public and to the public, and it employs the TCP/IP, the standard or de facto protocol that facilitates the possibility of linking millions or even billion of different devices across the enterprise, across the world, across the universe. So the internet is definitely the vehicle that facilitates the having or the possibility of having e-commerce or e-business type of technology or type of applications. The intranet is from the name, it's intranet, it's for the local people, for the local area network, is to facilitate users involvement, to facilitate people from the industry, from the same company, to be able to interact utilizing, of course, TCP/IP protocol. So this would provide information, applications, and other tools for the employees within the organization. Now, for businesses to businesses, we have what we call it extranet. Extranet that facilitates business to business communication, business to business dealing, business to business having type of commercial activities. And usually some businesses will be the customers and the other business will be the supplier, and this is what we call it the extranet. So if we look at the diagram here, you can say that the e-business is the centerpiece here, and it does act as a controller or as a link between many different entities that include the customer and the supplier, and that's why it facilitates the utilization of e-business suite of application that includes customer management as well as supplier relationship. It also involves marketing, it involves having the order management being in place that will facilitate as well drop shipping, once the order has been initiated, what is going to happen to that order, how it is going to be processed. It goes to the processing, then it goes to the shipping, and after the shipping and after the product is being received, so there is also a payment option, how to control the purchasing cycle from one side. So the e-business really it involves both the purchasing cycle from one side as well as the sales cycle from the other side. So it involves procurement type of cycle as well as order management or order type of cycles. Then we will talk about e-business, the growth, the second topic here. We need to understand that the e-business grow in very high the value, and it depends on how many entities that they are involved. So that the e-business, when it involves multiple entities, the growth is much higher, and this is what we call it Metcalfe's law. This is a theoretical explanation for continued e-business growth, and it says that the law states that the value of network or of a network to each of its members is proportional to the number of other connected users in the network. So as when we have more people involved in the network or more customers involved in the network, so the value is very much proportional to the number of links. And by this, of course, we have this example. We have 5, in this case, we have 6 entities. When they are linked together, it provides us with the facility of having or establishing 15 links. So this is how it is when we multiply 6 times 6 minus 1, which is 5, and then we divide by 2. This will provide us to get rid of the redundancy, or to get rid of the duplicates. This will provide us the number of links that is involved in this group of networked people, which is equivalent to 15 connections. So that's how the e-business can grow. The e-business framework. Okay, we need to look at the third topic here, which is the framework. Framework is like some kind of model that exists in order to facilitate how, or to understand how e-business works. We need to understand that the e-business operates according to certain model. Is like there are 2 major poles or 2 major pillars that exist. One of them is technology-based pillar. The other one is legal and regulatory based pillar. Now, with regards to the technology pillar takes care of the public policy. There are policy, legal, environment, privacy issues as well. Now, this is from the technology side. Then we have also the legal and regulatory. The legal, it is involving technology standards, communication protocols, and security technology. It's actually the other way around. The technology pillar is the technology standards, communication protocols, security technologies, and legal and regulatory is everything that involves the public policies and privacy issues. Now, we have a superhighway between those. So the superhighway is technically the physical linking between the 2 different e-business suites, or two different e-business environment. And we have the cable, different technology, DSL technology. We have the wireless, satellite communication. All these represents a certain highway for the e-business to operate. Now, when we want to operate e-business depends on certain also technology. Usually it's World Wide Web technology and hypertext transfer protocol. So that's why we utilize some kind of electronic publishing in order to publish the e-business environment, which is hypertext markup language as well as extended markup language. We could deploy also audio, video, multimedia capability. Then we have also what provides this kind of framework also, or supports, is the messaging system and knowledge distributed utilizing HTTP and fiber and file transfer protocol, email, and others. Then in the top of that, we got the common business services that really involves network security, and provide some kind of electronic payment engines, searching, authentication, encryption standards. Then we have the highest level, which is the communication between 2 businesses or 2 e-businesses, which is involving that could involve B2B or business to business, as well as business to customer, or B2C, or customer to customer, which is the lowest end, which is from both sides. And this could support or facilitate the availability of the e-business suites. Now, with regards to internet technology innovations for e-business, we can say that this has started in the early 1990s when the internet was launched in 1994, officially 1994, 1995 timing. There was the browser, so the technology was very simple. around the browser, then we can say that, over this 10 years time, that the technology has improved drastically until, we have in 1995, we have web content availability. Then we have search engines in 1996 where they began. Then we have the push technology. Java applets got involved in the late 1997. Then we have the portal technology. Credit card processing was happening in 1998. Then we have also more customization and tracking in 1999. Extended markup language, digital signature, and more encryption standards, peer-to-peer communication 2000. Then DSL technology, as well as wireless and handheld and so on. Our fourth topic here is going to be also the e-business technologies. We need to learn how the availability of broadband technology increase the user access to different types of file contents from their homes, and of course this is the availability of the technologies like wireless, DSL technologies, and other type of technologies. Now here, for example, we need to look at understand that how technology involved, and you need to understand also when we do certain kind of activities or processing, we need also to be concerned about two things. For example, the download time, and the download time, as well as the from different type of cabling. And this is the technology, the broadband technology utilizing the DSL has facilitated faster performance, and as well as compared to the cable technology. And this diagram, it shows you when we do processing for certain type of activities. For example, when we send a one-page email text, how long does it take, the typical file size, and it goes into different level. For example, sending 20-page Word document, how much processing time does it require when you talk about when you send this over cable, some kind of cable directly connection or DSL connection, until it moves into the full DVD. And as you can see, the full DVD, it requires huge bandwidth, huge data, and therefore the transmission time is higher. Here we have a few more concepts as in relation to the e-business technologies that exist. We need to understand, how things has moved from started with electronic data interchange, and then we have the extensible markup languages, then we have digital type of signature. So the EDI, for example, it was a proprietary application for communicating with trading partners or between two different trading partners. So this was done before. Then we have the XML that provided or enabled business-to-business electronic commerce via the internet, utilizing the extensible markup language or XML specifications. Then we have digital signatures, also facilitated the authentication for the sender to send the digital messages. Now, the digital signature is a type of asymmetric type of cryptography that involves both private and public key or pairs involved. Now, examples of potential internet opportunities. There are many different opportunities that exist over the internet for existing companies. For example, procurement of supplies via the internet can increase, of course, the power over the supplier. The size of potential market is also expanded. Distribution channel is now between traditional company is eliminated, so there is no boundaries, to the distribution. Now, there are some threats that exist for companies that for utilizing from the e-commerce. There's migration to price competition. There's too much competition for pricing, increased number of potential competitors. Of course, internet reduces some traditional barriers, and customers increase the bargaining power. So there is now more bargaining power. Now we need to look at also B2B application. Now, if the buyer and seller are fragmented market, independent intermediaries are more likely to be needed. So that's why when we have B2B, which is the buyer and sellers that are both businesses, so we need to have intermediary, something in between them in order to facilitate this. Now, if the sellers are concentrated, sellers are likely to dominate. So when there are too much sellers are likely to dominate, and it's what we call it seller dominant, which is B2B marketplace. So we got the sellers, which is, and the many buyers. So when we have less sellers, and this provides more, or there's less competition. So now, if buyers are concentrated, if there are means that less buyers, okay, so we have what we call it, buyers are likely to dominate, because the buyers, they have more power, they can negotiate better, because it's a buyer's market. And as you can see from the diagram, when we have less buyers and more sellers, and this is definitely going to be buyer dominant B2B marketplace. So we looked at these three models: so independent B2B, intermediary, and seller dominant B2B, and we looked at buyer dominant B2B. Now, the internet that also has increased internet usage across the globe. There's now approximately the population of people that utilizing the network worldwide is exceeding 6 billion people, and this is a nice table here that explains how it is. It was almost close to 360 million 10 years or 12 years ago. Actually, 10 years ago, you can say in the year 2000, but after 10 years, the population of the users of the internet and the network has increased, or the global network increased to approach or close to 7 billion people. And it gives you a diagram about the penetration, the growth, and the users of the table. Now, we can also talk about B2C, which is business to customer, or benefits. There are certain benefits to the customers, is that the availability is 24/7 access. For example, there are many different applications, or many different e-businesses that you can run, or certain sellers that you can access. For example, Amazon.com, you can access on 24/7 basis. Netflix. There is also traditional catalog like Dell, Land's End. We have traditional stores like Staples, Tesco. All these are good examples for multimedia opportunities, for marketing, new ways for research, and so on. And now, what makes a good website for consumers? Also, we need to look at the definitely the context should be clear. The content should involve text, pictures, and the commerce, the community, the connection, and also what makes a good B2C social media platform. There are certain capabilities that should be there, like brand, the company or its product, services, usage goals aligned with business strategies. So we need to make sure that the usage is aligned with the business strategy, providing user control over their privacy settings. So this will help the business to customer, and then the business to market its product. Thank you very much.